The next day, a great multitude had come to the feast. When they heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem, they took bunches of palm trees and went out to meet him and cried out, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, the King of Israel." Then Jesus, when he had found a young donkey, sat on it, as it is written, "Fear not, daughter of Zion, behold your king is coming, sitting on a donkey's colt." John 12:12-15. Can you imagine it? Jesus riding into Jerusalem on his donkey, people laying down palm trees, singing and worshiping, singing his praises, "Hosanna, Hosanna." Can you imagine it? Jesus at the temple performing signs and wonders for the people, their hopes uplifted that their king had come to defeat the Romans. Can you imagine it? The hope and disappointment they felt when Jesus didn't do what they thought. Instead, he died. Hi, my name is Bethany Calloway, and today's devotion is about Palm Sunday. The people in the crowd had a plan for what Jesus was going to do, but God's plan was different, and God did his plan, because God's gonna do what God's gonna do. When Jesus arrived to Jerusalem, the people sang and shouted, saying, "Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." John 12:13. They thought that Jesus was their king and Messiah, and he was. It just wasn't what they thought. At the time, Rome had dominated and took control over Israel. With the arrival of Jesus, the Jews thought Jesus would sweep in, defeat the Romans, and declare that he was king of Israel. But that is not what Jesus had in store. That was not what God had planned. But God had a different plan. He didn't want Jesus to just be king of the Jews. He wanted Jesus to be king of the whole world. God wanted to save the people more than just from Rome. God wanted to save them from a slavery they could not see. But in order for that to happen, a sacrifice had to be made. The crowd thought that Jesus was a fighter, a revolutionary, that he would come in, defeat Rome. But instead, he didn't fight. Instead, he laid down his life for us. Because Jesus didn't come to defeat Rome. He came to defeat sin. Just like the crowd on Palm Sunday, we have our own thoughts and plans on what God should do for us. But just like the crowd, we think in our own terms. We think of the now, of the world around us. God doesn't think like that. He thinks of the big picture. And just like the crowd on Palm Sunday, we get disappointed and hopeless when God doesn't do what we thought he would do. But let me tell you, just because God doesn't fix your problems like you think he should, all hope is not lost. When Jesus died, the people were at their lowest. But 3 days later, hope was restored. With Jesus' resurrection, the people knew that God's plan was better than theirs. So when you get discouraged or hopeless or disappointed that God didn't do what you thought he would do, remember, the people felt the same way. And just like God did for them, God will do something great, a bigger plan than you could ever imagine, just for you. So don't be discouraged when God doesn't do what you wanted him to do. God is not our servant. We are to be like Jesus when he said, "Yet I want your will to be done, not mine." Matthew 26:39. So today, I encourage you to let go of your own plans and submit to God's plan. I know it will be hard, and it will require sacrifice, just like it did for Jesus. But let me tell you, God's plan is so much bigger, so much better than what we could even imagine. So today, allow God's plan into your life. Because no matter what we plan or do, God's gonna do what God's gonna do. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. Romans 8:28.